The apartment smelled of mildew and microwaved dinners. Eric's tiny fingers pressed against the cold glass of the TV screen, chasing the flickering colors of a cartoon rabbit. Behind him, his father snored on the couch, a beer can sweating onto the carpet. His mother was out, or maybe in her room. It didn't matter. "Pathetic," the TV hissed. Eric froze. The cartoon had cut to static. In the gray snow, a silhouette sharpened, a man-shaped void with eyes like fractured pixels. "They don't see you, do they?" The voice buzzed, a dial tone grinding into his skull. "But I do." Eric's breath fogged the screen. The static man leaned closer. "You're special. Let me show you." Days bled into weeks. The entity came nightly, a glitching friend who never blinked. It taught Eric games. Melt the ants with a magnifying glass. Pry the wings off flies. "Why?" Eric whispered once, watching a fly twitch in his palm. "Because you can," the entity purred. "Power tastes sweeter than love." His parents barely noticed the dead things in his drawers. On his 7th birthday, Eric microwaved a cupcake alone. His father stumbled in, reeking of whiskey. "Quit your sniveling," he slurred, smashing the cupcake under his boot. "You're a waste of skin." That night, the static man seethed. "They're rotten. Cut them out and I'll give you a real family." It started with a fever. Eric's skin blistered, molten veins glowing beneath flesh. He stared at the toaster, willed it to redden, and it did, coils screaming cherry hot. "Good," the entity crackled. "Now, push." Eric's mother found him in the kitchen, her face tight with disgust. "Clean that mess." The toaster exploded, shrapnel embedded in her throat. She gagged, collapsing. Eric's hands trembled, smoke curling from his fingertips. "This is power," he realized. "This is how they'll finally see me." The entity laughed as Eric's father charged, fists raised. "Burn him," it commanded. Eric reached out, and the man's belt buckle glowed white-hot. Metal fused to skin. His scream was a symphony. Afterward, Eric stood amidst the ruins, his body shimmering like liquid iron. The TV screen flickered. "Come home," the static man beckoned. Police sirens wailed. Eric melted the front door into slag and vanished into the city's neon throat. Behind him, the apartment smoldered, a funeral pyre for the boy he'd never been. Detective Mara Kowalski studied the security footage, a small figure glowing like a furnace, reducing a patrol car to molten pools. The rookie beside her crossed himself. "Kid's a demon," he muttered. Mara zoomed in. For a frame, the boy's face flickered, human, then monstrous, then human again. Her chest tightened. She'd seen that look before. Her daughter wore it when Mara missed another recital. "No," Mara said quietly, "demons don't cry." On the screen, Eric's fiery tears evaporated before they could fall. The TV entity's static spreads. In a homeless shelter downtown, another child watches a corrupted screen. "You're special too," it whispers. The camera pans to Eric, crouched on a skyscraper ledge, his new skin gleaming under the moon. A monster forged, but not yet finished. Act 2. Emergence of the monster. The city breathed through its scars. Eric crouched atop a billboard, its flickering ad for family vacations casting him in fractured light. Below, a man shouted at a cowering woman outside a bar. "Worthless," The words slithered into Eric's ears, familiar and venomous. His molten fingers flexed. The entity hummed approval through a nearby traffic camera. "Feed the fire," it urged. Eric leapt. When he landed, the pavement bubbled beneath his feet. The man turned, rage dissolving into terror as Eric's glowing hand closed around his wrist. The smell of burning flesh bloomed. "Stop," the woman pleaded. But Eric didn't. The entity's laughter crackled in his skull like static. By dawn, the news would call it a gas leak. But the woman knew. She'd seen the child-shaped shadow with eyes like dying embers. Detective Mara pinned the crime scene photos to the wall. Melted streetlights, a silhouette burned into brick. Her task force stared, coffee gone cold. "Third incident this week," said Lieutenant Reyes, tracing the outline of a tiny handprint in molten steel. "Kids escalating." Mara's phone buzzed, a text from her daughter, Lila. "You coming to the play?" She silenced it. On the whiteboard, Eric's school photo smiled beneath the heading, "Demon Child." "Focus on the homeless shelters," Mara ordered. "He needs warmth, electricity. Check security cameras for—" A rookie interrupted, holding up a tablet. A viral video played, "Catch the fire starter live." Some idiot influencer in a hazmat suit taunting Eric from an abandoned mall. Mara's stomach dropped. God help us all. The shelter's TV flickered. Timmy, 9 years old and forgotten by foster care 3 times over, pressed his palm to the screen. The static man smiled. "Eric's lonely," it crooned. "He needs a friend." Timmy's eyes widened as the static seeped into his veins, cold and sweet. In the corner, a space heater began to glow. Eric huddled in a subway tunnel, watching a group of teens torment a smaller boy. "Orphan freak," they jeered, shoving him toward the tracks. The entity hissed. "Weakness. Let them burn." "Star." But the boy looked up, not at his tormentors, but at Eric. He could see him. Eric's hand twitched. The subway rails screamed red-hot. The bullies fled, shoes smoking. The orphan boy mouthed, "Thank you," before vanishing into the dark. For the first time since the apartment, Eric felt cold. Mara found the influencer setup in the mall food court. Ring lights, a phone charging from a generator. "Hey, demons, it's your boy." The live stream cut as Mara yanked the plug. "You're baiting a living weapon?" "Views don't lie," the influencer sneered. "Kid's got 10 million followers. People want to see." A molten fist punched through the ceiling. Eric dropped into their midst, skin dripping slag. The influencer screamed, scrambling backward. "Do something, cop." Mara drew her sidearm. "Eric, don't." He tilted his head, the entity's voice overlapping his own. "You smell like her. Star." "Like who?" Mara whispered. "The woman who cried. Star." The generator exploded. In the shelter, Timmy giggled as his soup boiled without a stove. The static man cooed. "Good. Now show Eric he's not alone." Star. Across town, Eric froze mid-escape. A new voice whispered through a shattered storefront TV, a child's voice. "I see you too." Star. For a heartbeat, the entity's hold wavered. Eric remembered microwaved cupcakes, remembered wanting. Then the entity snarled, "Distractions!" And the connection snapped. Mara found the drawing in Lila's backpack, a stick figure girl watching a burning house. "Mommy at work," the caption read. She called Lila, voice breaking. "I'll be there for the play, I promise." But that night, Eric attacked a power station. Mara stood in the control room, ankle deep in molten wires, staring at a security monitor. The entity stared back. "Your daughter dances beautifully," it glitched. "For now. Star." The city burns at Eric's heels, but in the flames a pattern emerges, a spiral leading to the abandoned Steel River Bridge. The entity's voice thrums through every screen. "Almost home." Meanwhile, Timmy walks into traffic, cars swerving as his skin ignites. 2 monsters now. Soon more. Act 3. Society's response. The city's screens screamed with hashtags, "Yes, demon child trending," "Yes, burn the monster." News helicopters circled like vultures as Eric melted a courthouse into a modern art Pompeii. Teenagers live-streamed selfies in front of the wreckage, chanting, "Sacrifice the freak," until Eric's shadow darkened their lenses. But in quiet corners, others whispered. A teacher hugged a flinching student. A nurse hid a runaway. The static entity seethed at their defiance. Ungrateful, it glitched through every device. "They'll betray you too, Eric." Timmy stood on the Steel River Bridge, cars burning around him. His skin crackled like cellophane, static leaking from his pores. The entity had promised power, but all Timmy felt was cold. Detective Mara arrived as he liquefied a SWAT van. "Timmy, stop!" she shouted, holster empty. "You don't have to obey it." The boy hesitated. For a heartbeat, Mara saw Lila's face superimposed over his, terrified, lonely. Then the entity's laugh boomed from a patrol car radio. "We are inevitable." Timmy combusted. The influencer's final video aired at prime time. Bound to a chair in the abandoned power plant, he sobbed as the entity puppeteered his voice. Witness the ascension. Behind him, a fractal portal throbbed, a glitching eye of static. Eric stood beneath it, molten flesh reforming into something sharper, hungrier. Mara watched from her squad car, Lila's recital ticket crumpled in her fist. It's using him as a battery, she realized, to tear open the world. The entity greeted Mara inside the plant with Lila's stolen voice. "Mommy, I'm scared." Mara's breath hitched. There, fused to the portal like a grotesque filament, was Eric. His human eye met hers. "I'm sorry," he rasped. "Liar!" The entity surged, distorting Eric's body into a spire of jagged metal. "He chose this, just as you chose duty over her." Mara raised her phone, screen cracked. A video played, Lila's recital, abandoned seats, her daughter dancing alone. "You're right," Mara said. "I failed her. Don't let it fail you, Eric." The portal pulsed. Eric's mind unraveled. His mother's choked breath as the toaster exploded. Timmy's scream on the bridge. The orphan boys whispered, "Thank you." "Weakness," the entity shrieked. "No," Eric thought. "These are mine." He gripped the portal's edges. The plant shuddered. Eric tore the entity from the portal, its static screams echoing into oblivion. The power plant collapsed, burying him in molten steel. Days later, Mara found a single handprint in the slag, small, human, frozen mid-reach. In the tragic end, a social worker finds a toddler tracing Eric's handprint in newsprint. In the ambiguous, a tech mogul harvests portal shards for the next evolution. In the redemptive, Lila's recital video glitches, a single frame of pixelated eyes. The entity's laugh echoes through all three. Somewhere, a screen flickers. A child reaches out. Act 4, Climax and Resolution. The power plant trembled as Eric clung to the edges of the static-charged portal, his molten body straining against the entity's will. Detective Mara staggered backward, shielding her eyes from the searing light. "You'll die with me," the entity roared, its voice a deafening cascade of broken frequencies. The portal pulsed like a dying star, threatening to swallow the city. Eric's human eye locked onto Mara. For a heartbeat, he was just a boy again, scared, small, and impossibly tired. "Tell them," his voice crackled, flesh sloughing off in glowing rivulets. "Tell them I didn't want this." Mara lunged, but it was too late. Eric tore the entity free from the portal, their screams merging into a single, static-choked howl. Light engulfed the plant. Then silence. Days later, Mara stood in the rubble, Lila's hand clutched in hers. The city had erected a memorial nearby, a twisted sculpture of melted steel from the plant. Someone had spray-painted "Demon" across it. Was he really a monster? Lila asked. Mara thought of Eric's school photo, the security footage of his fiery tears, the orphan boy he'd saved. "No," she said. "He was just lost." A reporter shoved a mic in her face. "Detective, will there be justice for the victims?" Mara stared at the man until he flinched. Ask the parents who ignored him. Ask the system that failed him. Ask yourselves. Who made him a headline? She walked away, Lila's grip tightening like an anchor. In a foster home across town, a girl named Sophia pressed her palm to a flickering TV screen. "You're special," the static hummed. "I'll never leave you." Her foster father yelled from the couch, "Turn that crap off!" Sophia's fingertips began to glow. Mara visited Eric's apartment building. The ruins had been bulldozed, replaced by a luxury condo ad. A fresh start. In the dirt, she found a half-melted action figure, charred, but still clutching a tiny plastic sword. She buried it under a sapling someone had planted to beautify the block. "I'm sorry," she whispered. The wind stirred. For a moment, the sapling's leaves shimmered metallic red. That night, Mara dreamed of the entity, not as a glitching horror, but as a shadow holding a child's silhouette. "You saved your world," it hissed, "but who will save theirs?" She woke to breaking news. A fire at a foster home, a girl missing, molten footprints leading to the river. On the bedroom wall, Lila's recital poster peeled at the edges. Mara smoothed it, lingering on her daughter's smile. Then she grabbed her badge and left. Somewhere a TV flickers. Somewhere a child burns. Somewhere a mother runs. The cycle is not broken. It has only begun.